Okay. All right. Well, welcome to the Historic District Commission remote meeting. I am going to be the temporary leader today. And because it is a remote meeting, I have to do the following. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, an act relative to the extending certain COVID-19 measures, this meeting will be conducted via remote participation. No person in attendance by members of the public will be permitted. The order allows the Historic District Commission to meet entirely remotely so as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. All members of the Historic District Commission are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of the meeting may do so going to the Northborough Remote Meeting on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. This meeting will not feature public comment. Each vote taken this evening will be conducted by roll call vote. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Okay, so Leslie?
Here.
Brian Swanson?
Here.
Bob Light here. Amanda?
Here.
Millie is not here, no. And Brian Smith?
Yes,
Brian Smith?
I'm here.
Okay. Do I have to do the alternates also?
I don't see any, doesn't
I
look
don't
like
see any
alternates.
Okay. All right. So we're going to start the meeting with our guest, Scott Carpentier, Director of Public Works, and he's going to talk about some of the options we have for the Brigham Street Burial Ground. Scott?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Commission, for having me. As you're aware, the town meeting appropriated funds for beautification of the Brigham Street Burial Ground. The project was designed as a book project, which means there weren't any formal design drawings prepared, but there was technical specifications developed, as well as scopes of work. It was publicly bid. We received 4 bids. The low bidder was Blue Water Landscape and Snow Removal. The contract was awarded to them. They mobilized to the site, did tree removal, and so far they did that as well as stump grinding. So part of the pre-construction meeting that we conducted included means and methods for the work. I explained to the contractor what the site was, which was identified in the bid documents. The contractor instructed me that he would be using land clearing equipment, which is generally low ground pressure equipment. If you look at the Felibuster, the large grappling looking thing, it had big balloon shaped tires that's used in very wet areas for low ground pressure, and it was mostly track mounted equipment, which again is low ground pressure equipment, similar to what you see at a landfill. The work was completed. The direction was given to them to make sure nothing penetrates the ground greater than 8 inches. We had done a ground penetrating radar years back that found anomalies 18 to 24 inches deep. Anomalies could have been burials. They could have been other solid material that was not the same as the soil, or small rocks. That portion of the work is complete. The next phase of the project is to power rake the surface that penetrates the soil approximately 4 inches, sometimes 6, depending on how big the material is that they're removing. The intent of that is to remove large roots, sticks, things of that nature. After that, the soil will be amended, in this case with specialized lime material. If you remember the vegetation there, the trees were all oaks and hemlocks, a lot of acidic vegetation dropping down on the soil. So they'll raise the pH with the lime, amend it with some loam, and plant grass and fertilize it come the next grow season, which is in September. The project also includes installation of granite posts and chain along the frontage of Brigham Street with small returns at each end, as well as some ancillary improvements like shifting signs and the memorial rock that's there, and mailboxes, and having a small turnoff area. So that's the scope of the project and the status. There were graves or anomalies, clusters of anomalies that were located during the GPR, the ground penetrating radar. We know where those are. They were surveyed. The discussion here, I believe, is to talk about what we can do to further the beautification project. So town meeting allocated $137,000. $15,000 went toward the engineering company who prepared the book project and surveyed the trees. That left us $122,000. The bid was awarded for $104,000. That leaves $18,000. We're expecting a change order of between $5,000 and $6,000 for additional loam after seeing the condition of the soil. I believe it's best that we amend it with some high nutrient loam as well as lime, as opposed to just trying to correct the chemistry of the soil that's there. Adding in a $4,000 contingency in the event something odd happens when they're putting in the granite posts, they hit something big and unforeseen. That leaves us with approximately $8,000 to install some further amenities, for lack of better terms, at the burial ground. I spoke with Norm when we walked it. Norm was at about a month ago, maybe.
Yep.
And we talked about some options. I know that the ground penetrating radar map is not mounted anywhere there. I know there's a nice sign there with some information about the burials, the list of names, and some historic information. One of the options we discussed was maybe we mount the map on a similar medium that will look and match what's there now. Another thought was maybe some small granite markers out where the anomaly clusters are. They could be similar to what you would see at a property corner, the small 4-inch by 4-inch granite, but they would be installed maybe 6 or 8 inches above the ground, so they're clearly visible, and obviously they're not going to be disturbed by mowing operations. And put those in most of the anomalies, if you're looking at the property, are to the left. Some have gravestones or memorial stones, others do not. So there's some options and there's some funds to do a little more. So that's, I think, what we were here to discuss this evening.
May I ask one quick question about I haven't been able to get over there, so I haven't seen it, but I saw some hubbub about more trees than were expected getting taken out. Would planting trees be something that would be recommended to kind of to help with that at all? That's really just, it's not a loaded question. I really haven't seen it.
That would be a wonderful option. We could pick some appropriate species that are not susceptible to the diseases that were there. There was a lot of hemlocks that were removed. They were all diseased with a fungal infection that is kind of rampant throughout the Northeast. If you go to the back of the property, so the parcel actually goes all the way back toward Milk Porridge and actually abuts the back of those homes. And if you go back there, you'll see a lot of standing dead hemlock, which is sort of the undercover, the shorter hemlocks. And then the very tall hemlocks, you'll see that there's zero green growth up till you get to near the top. And that's how the fungus grows. That's why a lot of all the hemlocks were removed from the burial area. But yeah, some attractive trees, maybe along the frontage intermittently with the granite posts and chain would be nice. I think that would be a great accent to the property.
You mentioned something about a granite marker for the anomalies. That would be areas that, those are areas that might be graves, but we're not sure.
Yeah, so anytime you do a ground penetrating radar, they'll tell you they saw something. They're not going to tell you what they saw because they're not digging a hole and they're not holding it. So it's a different density material that the radar is bouncing off of, and it's believed to be something in the shape of that could be a remain. And is it a cluster of stones? Is it remains? We don't know. We're obviously not going to excavate and evaluate, but the idea is that most of the anomalies that are found to be clustered are likely graves, and the clustered ones are to the left, which is where the burials sort of started and migrated and then stopped. And Norm, if I'm incorrect in anything, please don't hesitate to correct me, because you're well more versed in this than I am.
I'll let you know. I have a few questions, but I'll get the committee to ask this first.
Okay.
So we're talking about maybe a granite marker on the ground that might indicate that there are anomalies in the area.
Yes. If there's a clustered, sometimes the old days, the family plots would have a granite surround at the corners to show that this is where the family plot is. Where you determine those get placed and don't is a bit of a challenge, because you're not sure if isolated anomalies or burials or if they're not. So that's a bit of a challenge. Dom and I were, I don't want to say spitballing, but just kind of brainstorming about different ideas. And Leslie, the thought of some decorative trees has come up. I think that's a wonderful idea. But that, again, the commission, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are.
Any other questions or suggestions?
Just one other, in terms of the contingency, I would assume maybe we would wait and find out if the contingency gets used, because that'd be nice to be able to put the money to use if it doesn't end up being needed for the markers now, or the fence.
Yeah, my preference would be to have Public Works do the work. We would have the benefit of avoiding prevailing wage rates. We would pay our staff their hourly rate. We would not have to pay overhead and profit and bond insurances to the contractor. So it'd be far more cost effective to have Public Works implement, as long as it's within our skill set, this work. I mean, we can't, hot dip galvanized chain and color epoxy coat it, but trees and granite markers and things like that, that's well within our skill set.
Okay, then I got a couple of questions, if it's all right. Bob's
Sure.
okay? All right.
Yes, of course.
Well, it's interesting with the GPR. You're right. There's two sets of data from GPR. One is, are there graves at that site when they identified the abnormalities? But there are also graves that are clearly identified with these small stones that were put on top of the grave sites. These are, not so big, but many of them. I think they're called wolf stones to keep the grounds from being dug up by wolves. So some of them are, so there's two different parts of the GPR in terms of the results. I do have a small concern about the power rating, and it's over the section where those small stones on the graves are. I'm wondering if there's a way we could actually rope that off so they don't power rake that, because they are going to make a mess with all of those stones. There's probably easily, I can identify probably 10 or 15 of those burials with all the stones on top. I don't know what a power rake's going to do to that.
It will destroy that.
Yeah, and can we rope off that section at least, and have someone just hand rake it?
Yeah, we can certainly do that, Norm. What I would like to do, if it's okay with the chair, is get out there with a representative from the commission who's familiar with it. So I'm not out there spitballing on what I believe is the case and not the case. So if Bob, if it's okay with you, and you had somebody not acting on behalf of the commission, but just knowledgeable to help, that would be nice.
Sure. Frankly, I'm not knowledgeable about that area. I've been there, obviously. Norm, would you want to do that?
I'd be more than happy to. It would be nice to have someone else. from
I'll join you.
the- And,
Yeah, depending on the schedule, I can come too. I enjoy going there, but same thing, I would know. And thank you for asking, Norm. I just assumed that those would not get disturbed, so. That proves that the only stupid question is the one you don't ask, because I, I didn't ask.
It's a challenging project to implement these improvements in a sensitive fashion. You know, construction sites are messy, and we all saw what it looked like when the trees were coming down. It's not easy to work without disturbance. So, you know, having that kind of assistance to the contractor would be beneficial, I think. So yes, I'd welcome the opportunity to do that with you.
all right, so between Leslie and Bob and myself, and let's see, we can't for, what's the, we gotta be careful with open meeting law, Scott. So we're a committee of 7, so we can't have 4 people there that are on the committee. Is that correct?
That's correct. And even if you are 2 members, you're not supposed to discuss, you're not supposed to deliberate. So, you know, as long as we're not deliberating, we're just walking out there and looking at things, the entire commission could come, as the Board of Selectmen would go to a visit at 4 West Main or White Cliffs. As long as they're not deliberating, it doesn't violate open meeting law. So you're welcome to come along, and if we want to schedule it, you know, now with our calendars, great. If you want to put an email thread out, that works as well. I do want to do it soon though, just because I don't want to tell the contractor go away, because we're doing this in the middle of August.
So are we saying we need to visit before we make a decision about what to do with the extra money?
No, I believe we just go out there, go visit. It'll be helpful for you to put eyes on the site when you're considering how to spend the rest of the money. And I'll have stakes out and some ribbon, and we will drive some stakes and wrap some ribbon and cordon off some areas, and those areas will be hand raked. There will be a small cost associated with that, I would expect, because you're not just running across with a machine, but I don't think it's a substantial change.
Okay. Then can we make a decision tonight and vote, or do we have to wait
On spending the money?
on spending the money?
Oh, there's plenty of time. There's absolutely no hurry.
Okay,
The grow season isn't going to start until mid-September, late September. By that time, everything is in. So, you know, when the CPC process starts in November, I come to a meeting, we talk about what we want to do, and we implement it. So there's really no hurry.
Yeah, but we couldn't vote now anyway, because we don't have actual quotes, or we don't have anything concrete to actually vote on, really.
Yep.
So the purpose of this get together in the near future is really to rope off the area that has some GPR curiosities to make sure that it's not power rate. That's really
Correct.
the next step.
Correct. Yep.
How do you want to handle the scheduling on that, Bob? Or at least Leslie, to see if you could make it.
well, I mean, I'm pretty free. Do you want to try to do it this week?
I could do it Friday morning, you know, mid-morning, if that's convenient. I'm not sure what your schedules are. I have a meeting at 8 o'clock at the town common, but you know, 10 a.m. at Brigham Street would work wonderfully for me.
10 works for me. I have an 11:30 meeting, but 10 would be perfect.
Okay,
10 o'clock Friday, Norm?
That's the 21st?
correct. My daughter's 21st birthday.
All right. Oh, you got some old ones there. I can meet that. I
Okay,
can meet that.
that'd be wonderful.
Okay,
So then I just want to confirm 10 o'clock.
Yep.
All right, not PM, AM. There we go. Got it. That was easy, surprising.
all right, then there's nothing for us to vote on now. I do like the idea of planting trees and maybe a granite marker after, if there's anything left, but we can wait on that. Maybe we can make a decision at the next meeting.
Okay,
See some people on Friday morning.
excellent.
Sounds great.
Anything else for Scott while he's here? Okay,
All right.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Scott.
Mr. Thank
Thanks,
you, Mr.
Scott.
Chairman. I appreciate that, Commission, and have a good evening.
Thanks, Scott, you too.
Yeah, Scott. Hey, Millie,
Okay,
Millie's come, you made it.
I made
oh, hi,
it.
Millie.
Hey, Millie.
Okay, so we really should cover the last minutes. Brian had sent them out. Did everyone have a chance to look at them?
Mhm.
Okay, any changes or suggestions?
I didn't see anything.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Second,
Second,
okay. Do I need to do a roll call, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I vote aye. Leslie,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Amanda,
aye.
oh, and the other Brian, and Millie.
Aye.
Okay. So the minutes are accepted.
Just a reminder, after they're voted in acceptance, they need to end up with town clerk. The final version that's gonna have to. send
Oh,
it.
right.
And they usually like it in PDF format. If you can do that.
Yep.
Okay, the next part is the selection and nomination of the Historic District Commission officers. We have chair, vice chair, secretary, and also promotion of an alternate to the voting member. I would like to start off on a personal level and just ask Norm if he would reconsider coming back.
I
Please.
second the motion.
Yeah,
I like to feel that I'm wanted. Thank you very much, but I did make a tough decision. I'm gonna stick with it.
Maybe in
Okay.
3 years.
Overruled.
Mm.
Well, rather than, we'll start off with the nominations. I'm thinking that maybe a good thing to do would be to poll everyone and see what offices they would like, and then they could be then nominated. Does that sound like a way to go? I'm not,
It's great.
okay, so
Might be a lot of silence, though.
What happens in the event that nobody really wants the responsibilities?
I don't know.
Let me, if I may, I think I sent it around. I sent around a note regarding what the responsibility of the chair is. I was doing a lot of other stuff, but the responsibility of the chair is to make sure the meeting is run properly, the notices are put out properly, and it's, it's run the right way. That's what the responsibility of the chair is. All the other things, projects and all that other, that's not a chair responsibility. So it's not, if you think what I was doing was what the chair does, that's the misconception. It's really to make sure the meeting's done right.
It's what a really good chair does. What you're describing is bare bones minimum. What an excellent chair does is what you've been doing.
Well, thank you for that, but but you need someone to do the minimum right now.
Yeah, that's true. I just wanted to acknowledge it. Bob, would you be willing to, you were kind of getting prepared to do that. Are you willing to step in a little sooner?
Well, I talked to Norm about this. I didn't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I just don't feel like I have the background. I also don't have the experience on the committee as others do. There's a lot others with more seniority. So I was willing to step up to be the vice chair for a year or two and see how things go. So my preference is not to do it. Leslie, you're the vice chair, so it
Yeah,
would.
but I've been pretty adamant that I need to stay that way for for
Okay.
quite a while, and I just do. I'm just spread too thin. If I'm gonna do something, I want to be able to do it justice. And I wasn't even sure I'd be able to make it tonight. I mean, I did, because I wanted to be here for this discussion, but I was by the skin of my teeth. I won't make excuses. I'll just say, I can't do it right now. I've just got too
Mm.
many other commitments at this point to do it. I'll continue as vice chair, but being chair, I just don't feel comfortable doing.
Anyone else have any thoughts? Or volunteers?
What about you, Brian Smith?
I got a stroke several years ago, and my capacity of the original language is terrible.
Mm.
So, yeah, I rule myself out because of the stroke.
Well, you have a
Yeah.
great depth of knowledge and investment in the Town, so it doesn't go unnoticed.
Yeah,
I would agree, and I think we could work around any deficiencies you feel like you have and support you in any way we could to step into that, because you do have such a wealth of knowledge. So if that's the only thing that's holding you back, I think we could I would happily support you in any way necessary to.
uh,
And I'll of course step up in any capacity I can.
no, I can't dissolve myself from the stroke. Yeah,
Okay. that's one of the-
Understood.
Yeah, absolutely.
For those who don't know it, Brian was the chair just before his stroke. You were at least 2 or 3 years as the chair for
yeah,
the group, and then when you got sick, obviously you backfilled. But
yeah.
you just wanted to make sure people
No, I
realize
didn't realize that was before my
you had a
time.
real good role for us, and you were doing a great job, and your participation is still so critical.
Mhm.
Appreciate that.
I'm willing to continue taking my minutes and doing the clerk type things, but that's about it.
Anyone else have any thoughts?
Who's not present at the meeting right now?
We're all present. I had a question about Tom Reardon, who's an alternate. He's an architect. He certainly has great experience. Is that something he possibly would consider?
Go to the ask. Right now, he's not a voting member.
But we have to get a new voting member anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Millie, any thoughts on your end?
I'm pretty thin on commitments, so I definitely feel that I would love to do something like this, but I don't feel I'd be able to commit the time that's needed.
So Lorna's not here, and
And
just those are
Tom.
the two that are missing, and Tom. So Lorna and Tom are not here. They're both the alternates too.
Right. And Bruce.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bruce, I need to text him. He's been so tied up with work, he hasn't met.
That's true. Bruce has experience. Do you think he would consider,
With who?
or do you think Bruce would consider, Bruce does have the experience. Do you think he would consider?
He can't
Stepping
get
back
away
in?
from, he can't get away from work. He was the chairperson for a while. so-
That's what I mean. I'm saying he has that experience.
But
Yeah.
he's having a hard time making the regular meetings. I mean, the three that are not here are certainly worth talking to, would be my opinion.
Can we talk to them outside of a meeting, or does it have to be at a meeting?
Past, most of you people I've approached. So if you do one-on-one, sometimes you can be pretty convincing. But you don't have to do it at a meeting. No, I would recommend meeting for coffee or something.
Norm, did you
What I do with
talk to
Bob. What?
Norm? Did you talk to Tom Reardon?
I do talk to Tom Reardon. We're on a couple of committees together, but not about
Not about this.
not about this. No, I did not do. I mean, I could talk to him. If you'd like me to, I just don't know if somebody else should talk to.
Yeah, I'd like you to, and I could also talk to him. But would you mind starting it?
No, I don't mind starting it. I know Tom quite well.
Do we need to make a decision tonight about at least get temporary officers in place? Can we go another month?
I don't think we have any choice but to do that.
Why don't we nominate vice chair and secretary?
I nominate Leslie Harrison for vice chair and Brian Swanson for secretary. Should we divide that into 2 votes?
Yes.
Probably.
Okay. Leslie for vice chair, second.
A second.
Can I do all in favor, say aye, or do I have to go through each name? No? I can't do that. Okay. Leslie,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Swanson, Brian Swanson. I'm sorry, Brian Swanson. Amanda,
Aye.
Millie,
Aye.
Brian Smith,
I,
and I vote aye. Okay, for secretary,
I nominate Brian Swanson for secretary.
Second.
okay. No vote, Leslie,
Aye.
Brian Swanson,
Aye.
Amanda,
Aye.
Millie,
Aye.
Brian Smith,
I,
and I vote aye. Congratulations to our officers. I will, if someone wants to nominate me, I can be a temporary chair
So
for the
moved.
next.
Before he has a chance to change his mind. Thank you, Bob. I know you're being put on the spot here, and I'm sorry for that.
It's okay. Well, because if, let's face it, if Tom says no, we got to have a chair. But I'm going to need help. Okay,
And we have co-chair.
we have a co-chair.
No, could we have a,
We have- We
A
have a
co-
vice chair.
or John?
A
Can we
vice-
have
oh,
2? You know, like a co-chair? I don't know that we need to, but
That's a question you can ask the Mass Historical Commission. They'll have an answer for that.
okay.
And Bob, you know my number, you have my text, you have my phone number, you know my email address. And as I think I expressed at the last meeting, I'm still here and I will help when needed. I'm not walking away completely.
Yeah, I'd like to think that as vice chair, I'm somewhat of a co-chair as well, so.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everyone else will help, obviously. Okay, do we need to nominate?
I did, I've so moved, so you're nominated.
Second.
Okay. Leslie,
Aye.
Brian Swanson,
Aye.
Amanda,
Aye.
Millie,
Aye.
Brian Smith,
I,
and I guess I say aye. Okay,
Thank you.
but we'll talk to Tom as Tom would be a very good fit. Oh, the next thing is we need to promote someone to a voting member. So
I
I guess
think,
it would be between Lorna and Tom, and I would recommend Tom, obviously. I think he has more seniority anyway.
Mhm.
yeah, I
Okay,
think he's been at more meetings as well.
Right, so can I have a motion to,
You might
yes.
want to be careful with this. I think you want to make sure you don't nominate someone who's not present at the meeting. That might just be not well received. You know, see my point?
Good.
Kind of like you
Good
didn't show up to the meeting, so now you're doing it, you know, it's just,
good point. Does it require a vote to promote someone? Did we do that last time?
when in
I don't
doubt,
think you voted for me to go from alternate.
I don't remember. But when in doubt, vote, it takes 5 seconds, so.
Okay,
I didn't make 2 cents.
so we can't vote on it now because he's not here.
I just think it'd be better if he was here.
Okay,
I agree.
all right, let's move on to old business. CPA status, project status. I'm not, do we start with the cemetery signs or is there any other CPA?
Not for projects. Whoops. What are the cemetery signs? Are those the ones that have all been already installed?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, the
I carried
Kaiser
that
signs.
over.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was the Kaiser sign. So that one's done.
That
That's
should be on.
good.
off
I haven't
the-
seen the one on Howard Street, but the one on Whitney looks great. It's just so nice to see that marked.
Okay, and then of course the burial ground, the Brigham Street, that's not CPA, is it?
No.
Okay, so
Wait,
that's,
I'm sorry. Yes, that is absolutely CPA.
It was.
Yeah.
so we could review that next time under this category,
Yes, correct.
but we've already reviewed it. Okay.
Yeah, you did the
The
right thing by
Yeah,
putting
the
Scott.
libraries. I'm sorry.
You did the right thing by putting Scott first, but it is a CPA project.
Okay. Okay, so we'll cover that next time. Now, the Gale Library sign, there were some changes made.
Yeah, I can update on that. Remember from the last meeting, we thought it would be a better idea to have both Cyrus Gale and Cyrus Gale Jr. images on the sign. So I forwarded that request to the Historical Society, and they can get us some better images, and they can get us the images, but with summer, it might not happen for another couple of weeks. But it's in the works.
Okay,
Ellen said, "Oh yeah, I've got some really good images," but she's been out.
that was the second picture of Captain Gale.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we wanted 2 pictures.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they'll get us, and the one that we had, they can get us. We really need to scan in a high quality image. That one wasn't that, so they can do a better job on both images.
Okay. All right, next on the agenda is any other thing on CPA projects?
Not that it's like us.
Okay, the next item is the Westboro State Hospital Chauncey Hall historic markers. Norm and I had a meeting with the, I guess the head of the guy, Greg Zuckerman, who's part of the Division of Capital Assets Management and Maintenance. And oops, excuse me.
There's your co-chair.
Yeah, yeah, he just turned it on. Okay, so and they have hired a consultant group, which is the from Hartford, Connecticut, I believe, the Heritage Consultants, who are more, they're basically putting the words together on the 2 signs. So one of the signs is going to be for the hospital and the farm dormitory, and the second sign is going to be for the Indian Trail. And they are, I guess they're meeting with the representatives of the Nipmuc Nation and do the wording for that sign. For those that aren't aware, the signs are going to go in the parking area of the model airplane field which is right across the street from the old dormitory. And in a way, I was hoping that it would be more on the street, but there's no place for people to pull over and see the sign. So I think there's another meeting scheduled, I believe, at the end of July. Right. And I think what I'd like to push for is to have at least a small marker that says historic markers down this road or something like that. So people driving by would see that there's a historic markers. Otherwise, I'm not sure it's going to get much traffic. But it was a very good meeting, and this consulting group really knows what they're doing. And I took some pictures of the existing panels that are over by Chauncey Lake, by the gazebo, so they could see what was already written. Because I think there's basically an overall history of the Westboro State Hospital, but I think we wanted to concentrate more on the dormitory farm area and the farming community that grew up around there, as opposed to the whole history of the whole region. And since the gazebos are already up there and there's already lengthy panels on the history of the Westboro State Hospital, I thought they should concentrate more on the old Chauncey Hall. Anything else to add on that, Norm?
I was mainly impressed by the Heritage Consulting Group because they did their homework. The woman who was in charge of those panels was very impressive. And the fact that they wanted to contact the Nipmuc Nation to make sure that any verbiage on the Native American panel was impressive. So it's a very good group. The way I have it on my notes is they want to review the drafts of the signs week of July 31st, and they want to have the final designs by the middle of August for early installation. So it's taken a long time to get here, but now they've turned the key. It's going to happen fast. And these are impressive signs. They're like 4 feet by 6 feet vertical signs. These are nothing we've ever made before. These are huge.
Yeah. So I thought it was a good meeting, and we'll have a follow-up meeting. And I think the wording is going to be out of our hands. They're going to basically handle that, and then they're going to meet with the Nipmuc Nation. Did I say that right?
Nipmuc.
Okay. So we'll report back on that at the next meeting.
Right.
Small projects was the last time Tom was talking about Northborough, UK. And I don't think there's any other small projects going on.
I have a small project
Sorry.
to report on, I guess. So I don't know if you guys remember, almost probably a year ago, I was going to put together something about Fanny Proctor to teach the school kids. My daughter graduated from Proctor June 22nd, and I handed something in finally. It's just a 2-page, like front to back little pamphlet that I just gave out to the 5th graders. I gave it to the 5th grade teachers, had them give it out to the students. I have it here with me. If you want me to share my screen, I can show it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I was going to print it and then was like, wait, this is not this isn't an in-person meeting. Okay, so let me see if I can figure this out. There we go. Share. So there we go. So this is it. So let's see. So that is the sign that's currently on the school. And then there's, this is a sign that's inside of the school that was put there when the school was erected. They also have a second sign that looks similar that they put in when they redid the school back in the late 90s. I originally wrote this up, gave it to my daughter like the night before I was going to hand it in, and she read about half of it and turned and stopped, like just closed the computer and walked away. And my daughter loves to read. So I said, oh no, I messed up big time. So I talked to her and realized what I did and completely reworked it in about a half an hour. this is a picture of Fanny that you can see at the Historical Society. Actually, there's a small section about the schools. And then this is something too from the Historical Society. I realized it's an old map of town, and it shows where she lived on Whitney Street.
Oh, neat.
And then this is the current flagpole as it stands. That gold ball was on the original flagpole that stood in front of Proctor, that was donated by her brother, Edwin Proctor, when the school was first built. So I just thought that was kind of something interesting for the kids to see, that, you know, they see it every day, and it was how it tied back to her. So I tried to do mostly about her. I kind of included, you know, how she grew up, and how she taught in town, and then how she, you know, is still kind of tied to town. And then at the bottom, I included us in it so that the kids knew where it came from.
That's
But
great.
yeah,
That's really
Thank you.
great. Can you email it around too?
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I'd be happy
Nice.
to.
And also, what changes did you make did your daughter read it? Like, what was her reaction
Yeah,
the
she
second
read it
time?
again and was like, read the whole thing and loved it. She actually read it the second time when I wasn't there. Originally, it was just much more dry and more of like something that maybe an adult would have liked, but it just wasn't as like, so like you'll notice there's some bold in
Yeah,
here
fun
for like
facts,
some
yeah.
fun facts, and
Yeah.
I tried to just think about, you know, the different handouts that she came home with and how those were written, and just kind of made it less about the, you know, including the facts, but kind of making it a little bit more interesting, and less verbose, I think.
That's great.
Thank you.
Good
Very-
job,
very good.
Amanda.
Very
Really,
good.
Norm.
Excellent. I was wondering, maybe you could send a copy to the Historical Society too?
Yeah, I've got to do that. Yeah, Norm gave me a whole list of people I have to send it to. So I'm gonna get on that.
Well, both my kids went to Proctor, so they'll be very happy to see that.
Yeah, nice.
I wonder if we should consider historical markers for the schools at some point.
Oh, that could be interesting. Yeah, I'm planning on
well,
doing a project for Peasley and for Z as well, but I haven't, I've started getting information, but I haven't put anything together yet.
Very good. Thank you. The next on the agenda is Norm and I had a meeting with the Shrewsbury Historic District Commission. I guess they're working on their preservation plan, and Norm gave them copies of our plan, and we discussed basically what went into it. I don't have too much more to add about that. I can't remember when they were talking about the Shrewsbury plan, the town plan did they have objectives in that? Was that still being written?
They, when we started with them, well, first of all, it was interesting meeting because they had members of their historical commission. They also have a separate historic district commission, and they had the Historical Society representative there, and a fellow who's on, I think he's the chair of the brand new CPC, because they've got CPA funding that he's starting last year. So it was quite a cast of interesting group of people. You know, our good fortune was that we had the master plan done, and within a year or two after, we decided to tidy it up and build that into our historic preservation plan. Their master plan is old. I don't know if it's 10 years old or 5 years old, and there's a new one coming up. So kind of said, you know, you might want to wait till the master plan is done, then it's a lot easier to. But it was nice to. It was nice to have someone recognize our commission and invite us to help them through their process. It's nice to be. I don't know who the contact was in Shrewsbury, but it was just kind of nice to know people are paying attention.
Yeah, I think they were a little.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I think they were a little nervous when they saw the size of our preservation plan.
I told him chapter 7 is the plan. The other stuff you don't even need to put in.
Okay. Any other comments? Thank you. Next, I added the Apple Fest booth. I think I have to go back and check, but we have to make a decision about that. Probably this meeting, do you think?
Since Rotary runs the street fair, I have to be there with Rotary, so I won't be able to
Yeah.
with our booth if we do decide to do one.
I'm not sure if I'll be available, but I will if I'm still in town. Any thoughts about whether we should do it or not this year?
I don't, I mean, I'll be available, but I don't know that I'm not the people person that Norm is that will pull people into it. I'm happy to man the booth with someone else. But I'm not sure I'm up for doing it by myself.
And Norm, you said that all the booth is at the town hall.
The information that we need to put in the booth is in a box that's marked Apple Fest.
What about the awning?
That's mine. Somebody
Oh.
wants to, more than welcome to borrow it. It's just, it's just a general pop-up awning, nothing special there.
What's the possibility of us joining the Northborough Historic Society booth? Is that possible?
That's a good question. Oh,
Because we were right next to them last year.
right. Well, Mike DeShano is the president right now of the Historical Society. I think we have pretty good connections with him.
Yeah, I mean, I can reach out to him. I've got his email.
It's worth asking. Actually makes good sense. I'll
that-
confuse some people, but it makes some good sense.
I mean, it wouldn't cost us anything, or we could split the fee with them. I'm just thinking that we're going to be next to them anyway.
Leslie, what's the due date for getting the site?
I'd have to ask Pat. I'm actually not sure. I can see if
Yeah,
I can
remember
find
I
it, but
saw it somewhere. I mean, it's early this year. It's the first weekend, the second.
yeah, it is early. It's the second weekend of September. So it's September 9th.
But it's
Right.
only
Yeah, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th.
8 weeks away. Just real quick.
Oh, the 9th. I have a conflict on the 9th. Not for the whole day, but well, if there's no thought, I mean, I think it's worthwhile, but it just might be too much. If we could volunteer to join the Historical Society, I'd be willing to do that. Have brochures available, maybe a little sign.
Yeah, we can certainly try that.
Do you feel comfortable talking to Mike? I could,
Yes, I can do that.
it's probably better you guys than.
Yeah.
That's an
Is that
interesting idea.
is
Why
that for
not?
me, or I'm sorry, is that for me to do, or is someone else going to talk to Mike?
I can certainly do it. I've got his email address.
Right, could you? Thank you, Lynn.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, I don't see a formal, we do the assignments fairly late in the game. So, a couple weeks before is fine. It's not.
Okay, so at the time, we can have volunteers show up. We only need 1 or 2 volunteers for the whole day. I could, is it a Saturday or a Sunday?
Saturday with a rain date of Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, I could get there at 2 o'clock to the end, but that's my conflict. All right, so we don't need to do anything now. We'll talk to Mike first.
Yeah.
Okay, any new business before we get to the committee representatives? Okay. First one on the list is the master plan implementation.
Oh, excuse me, Bob, I was muted. I didn't realize that. I did have two topics under a new business.
Okay,
So the first one is I'm trying to schedule a meeting on Friday morning with the Westboro Historical Society, I think it is. Because they want to know about how we're putting up these historic markers around town. They wanted to know how we do them, just how we get them done, who does them, what they cost. I'm looking for Friday morning.
remember we had that thing Friday morning at 10 at the cemetery.
Excuse me, it's not this Friday morning. I'm sorry. It's Friday morning, the 28th, a week from now.
And that's Westboro.
And that's Westboro. I think I'd like them to come to Northboro. It's only 1 or 2 people, I think.
Okay,
They want to know how you get signs made and how that works. So it's another case.
So they were talking about QR codes and stuff that we don't do as well.
Correct. And but
They-
that's and I don't
Are
think
they, are they aware though that all the things that they said they're interested in, we don't do, just in case they decide they don't want to meet with? Okay.
I apologize if I haven't copied you on the correspondence, but it says
Okay.
we haven't put QR codes. There were a couple other things we haven't done. Probably more than anything is to make sure they know how much these things cost.
Yeah, I can make it that day. They recommended they said we should meet at a coffee house. I don't know. Anybody know any good coffee houses in Northborough?
There's like 5 of them now or more.
Billy, when I said I had 11:30 meeting on Friday, I'm actually meeting someone at St. Levy for lunch. He's from Hopkinton. He's like, let's go to St. Levy. I love it there.
Well, voila.
Yeah. When I sent him Norm's article on that had just come out, it was like all perfect timing.
I actually just saw that, Norm. So you definitely have a flair for writing.
No, it's easy when it's done. Tel Aviv's easy to write for, believe me.
I didn't know the Texas barbecue almost ended up there.
Yeah.
so it-
Either.
Oh, yeah. But just keep in mind, Leslie, we're talking about July 28th.
Yeah, I leave town on the 29th, but the 28th I could make it. So if you're doing it, then I can do it.
And I know, Bob, I think you have a possibility.
I'm free, assuming I'm not gonna have to go to Ohio.
Yeah, that's right. So, and I know Amanda offered and Lorna offered, but I'd rather do, personally, I'd rather do it in the morning. So,
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
Friday,
that's
Friday,
fine.
mo- Friday morning's fine. You know,
all
we
right,
can-
so I'll confirm that with
sign you
them
up.
when I get off of this.
Okay, great. Thanks.
And let's see, the other thing is, I don't know if you noticed, but 162 Whitney Street, that was a fire with the house with that big fire in it. It was demolished this week. So it's
Oh, wow.
finally get torn down so they can start going to the next step, the good stuff, new construction. And the last thing is I let Bob, and I think I let Leslie know, but you all should know, I've gone through all my paper files at home here that have to do with the Historic District Commission and those that I feel should really be on the file cabinets of the Historic District Commission. I put them in this morning. I also downloaded onto I call it a thumb drive, but that's not the right word. And a memory stick. Anyway, and I downloaded everything that's on my computer that has Historic District Commission information, and it's in the file also. So the memory stick with 17 years of information is in the file.
That's the file that's
I
next to the
don't
window.
guarantee it's easy to find things because it's my own system of searching. But if you search, you find things. You know my number. You can call me. It's not that big of a deal. So I just want
And
to
that-
let you know that that's there.
And that's
Thank
the file cabinet that's next to the window.
Yep, and I have a tag on it that says NHDC 2006, 2006, and 2023. I think that's all I have for you. Yep, that's it. Those are the new business.
Okay, for committee representation, the master implementation meeting, I guess there was a meeting number 3 of the downtown revitalization meeting.
Mhm.
Millie was there, I was there. Millie, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, they're basically that was their 3rd meeting. It started to really pull together some of the pieces from the master plan. Things are a bit of in flux with what people were thinking they were getting and what was being put put forth. I think some people were pretty overwhelmed by some of the details that were going to happen. But you know, it looks like they're trying to pull it together so that we can have a plan that works with, that incorporates some of the features of the historic plans that we have put in place. But there's still a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good meeting. Very ambitious plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
When will it be published and available, Lily, the final plan?
That's a good question. I think they were still waiting for a few more pieces to come together. So I don't know. We actually don't, at this point, I don't know that we have our next meeting planned yet. But I think that that's one of the questions that's going to be coming up, is what can be the time frame.
I did, this was before I resigned from this committee. I did contact, who did I contact? I copied you, Millie, and I contacted, Rick Leaf and Ashley Davies, and let them know that there should be a sentence or two when they're recognizing how many buildings in the downtown area are recorded as historic through the the state of Massachusetts inventory.
Yeah.
It's not, the numbers like in the 60s. So just to recognize there should be a sentence in there that's
Yeah.
attention to.
And I think before this last one, a couple of us walked in the downtown area and wanted to bring forth some of the design elements of the older buildings, even into the newer structures. Even though they're not going to be historic, they should definitely incorporate what our town looks like.
Great idea.
Okay, thank you, Billy. Anything that we have to discuss about White Cliffs? It's kind of nothing new, right?
It's being handled by the select board. So they have had some select board meetings. You can follow what's going on there. That's probably
Okay.
the case.
Any other committee reports? I think that's it. For another item, I just want to remind everyone, and I've been derelict on this, is that we have to do the conflict of the ethics training that Andy Dowd sent around.
I
Remember
think,
the conflict of interest? Yeah. So I don't know, he didn't give a time on that, but it's probably something to do as part of your summer reading.
I did do it, because if I don't do it right away, he'll never get done. So I did do it.
Oh, good. Yeah, I got to get to that. So just to remind everyone. Okay, I don't think there's anything else. Next meeting date?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Do we need to redo our committee assignments? With officers, do we do the same time we do the assignments? Our representatives to various committees?
Oh,
The list of members of the total list of the members on the committee, and then also listing who the officers are. Is that what you're asking, Leslie?
No, I mean, like I've like Millie's on the master plan implementation committee. I'm on the CPC.
is there a reason why you don't want to continue?
No, I would love to, but it's a process we should go through, I think, at the same time as the officers, that we need to review just in case. I'd love to, but it doesn't mean someone else doesn't want to.
Yeah,
Okay.
Leslie's right. You're right, Leslie.
Let's be formal about it. Okay, then.
Does anybody else, I mean, we should make the list of what they are. So it's master plan implementation at CPC. Are we anywhere else? Is that it?
Just those two, right? White Cliffs would be dead, right?
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
oops.
Poor choice of words.
Yeah. Right. All right. Now Norm, all of a sudden I see Norm like shrinking in his chair. He's like, it's like the Wicked Witch of the Wood, like, oh, yeah, I'm shrinking.
Melting.
Well, the White
Melting,
Cliffs
that's
committee was disbanded, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's only two. So do we have a nomination for the master plan implementation committee representative?
Unless someone else says they want to do it, I nominate Millie. Does anybody else want to do that?
Second,
Second.
Okay. Leslie? We're voting.
Oh, yeah, aye, sorry.
Sorry about that. Okay. Yes.
Distracted there for a second, sorry.
Brian Swanson,
Yes,
Amanda,
Aye.
Millie,
Aye.
Brian Smith,
Aye.
and I vote aye. Congratulations, Millie.
Thank you.
And now for the CPC. Do we have a nomination?
I vote Leslie Harrison.
Second?
I second it.
Okay. Leslie,
Aye.
Brian Swanson,
Aye.
Amanda,
Aye.
Millie,
Aye.
Brian Smith,
Aye.
and I vote aye. Congratulations, Leslie.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Other business? Okay. The next meeting date would be scheduled for August. I'm okay with that, unless someone needs to take a summer vacation.
August 16th works for me.
Is it Wednesday, August 16th?
Yep.
Okay. And we'll do a Zoom meeting if that's okay with everyone.
Yay.
Sounds good.
Okay, I don't think there's anything we need to do. I think it's the same link. I'll send something around. So August 16th. Okay. Do I have a motion to
Yeah, make a motion, we adjourn.
Oh,
Okay.
I have two things I need to mention. I'm sorry. First,
okay,
I happen to be in town hall today, so I picked up the mail. The only thing that was in the mail is our account balance is $500. Just a heads up. We don't get a lot of mail anymore. It's all email, but usually either Diane Wackel or Lynn Lepore will let us know if there's mail, and they can. A lot of times they'll just scan it in and send it to us and let us know there's a mail letter to be picked up. If there is mail that comes to our attention in town hall, so just be aware of that.
Okay.
And the second thing is, I know I apologize that I left you guys in the lurch for my decision, but I want you to know that I'm here. I can be helpful. Don't hesitate to contact me. Don't hesitate to email me. You all know how to get a hold of me. Use me as a resource. I'll be more than happy to make sure things continue smoothly. I don't want to just leave this and have a transition period be bumpy. Just keep me in mind, okay?
Thank you, Norman. I know it was a challenging decision, and I'm disappointed, but I certainly absolutely respect it. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you, Norm.
All right. So I'm gonna go now. You guys can finish up.
we get to talk about Norm now.
You can open up the voting again.
Thank you, Norm. We had a
Okay,
motion to adjourn anyway, right? We're done, or
we're done.
Think so.
Motion to adjourn?
I
I'm not
make a
sure.
motion, we
Okay,
I'm
adjourn.
not allowed to, so,
second, no, Amanda did already, but I'll second it.
okay. Leslie,
Yes, please.
Brian Swanson.
Yes.
Yes.
Amanda.
Oh,
Brian
Yes,
Smith. Amanda,
yep.
Millie, and
Aye.
I vote aye. Okay, so we're adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you, Bob, for stepping
thanks,
up.
Bob. Yeah.
Uh,
I appreciate it.
You did
Thanks, guys.
real well,
You did.
Yes, you
really
did.
well.
It'll get better.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds like a permanent man talking.
Yeah.
No, no,
Sure does. Right, right.
All righty.
All right,
Okay.
thanks.
Guys.
Bye,
All right,
everyone.
good